Hi, my name is Fallout, and here's what your favorite exotic special weapon says about you. The Chaperone. You're a PvP player, and odds are you've been playing for years, albeit with an occasional multi-month break every now and then. If you're a D1 OG, there's a chance you saw DFP trolling people with Chappy on YouTube, and that was all it took to sign you up. Back in the day, there used to be a lot of you, and as you look around seeing your fellow Roadborne warrior numbers dwindle, you feel an odd sense of pride knowing that you're still on the wagon. You know you lost a lot of club members to the Temptation Shotgun exotic that shall not be named, but still when you get a comically deep one-tap in PvP, your brain swims in dopamine. Izanagi's Burden. You're a PvE player and you do not around. Divinity players are your best friend, and just like those little groupie fish that follow big sharks around, you always make sure your blue beam bestie is near you at all times so you can cook champions in the blink of an eye. The DPS phase in any raid is basically a Mario Party minigame to you. You're gonna Izanagi rocket swap with absolute perfection, and you're secretly excited if your team doesn't get a one phase so you can all wipe and see the receipts about how your friends didn't do as much damage as you. If you're a PvP player, you scavenge for special ammo like a starving squirrel, all for the moment where you can clown some poor bastard with a ×4 honed edge right in the breadbasket and giggle like a madman. Arbalest. Oh boy, you fall under one of two umbrellas. First umbrella, you're a PvE player and you're a little bit old-fashioned. Long ago, you picked up Arby because your team needed a way to beat barrier champions and it ended up working pretty well. You adopted a mentality of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and your teammates tragically don't have the heart to tell you that Wish Ender literally exists. And hey, what are you laughing at, Umbrella 2 players? The only funny thing around here is you desperately clinging to a charge-up aim assist tube in PvP because you don't have the balls to learn how to snipe. Oh sure, there was a time when everyone was doing it, but thank God the sun set on that chapter in PvP. Quit living in the past and put on a gun with some cojones. Bastion. You're a PvP player, and Smart Money says you probably play on controller. You might have picked up this gun for the first time when it was making waves in Crucible. Then the meta changed and most people moved on, but you didn't. Something about the gun felt right to you. Oh sure, more than half the time you just get straight up cooked by some ape with a shotgun, but any player not tuned into their radar or scoping a lane a little too hard is fish in a barrel to you, and it's funny every time. You get tons of angry post-game messages, but little do they know that's basically your fetish. Witherhoard. If you're a PvE player, there's no denying it. You're addicted to how damn easy it is to spam and abuse this gun. Shoot, swap, auto reload, swap back. It's good for ad clear, major damage, hell, even good on raid bosses. Just tag him, then swap to your power weapon, probably with bait and switch. Maybe one day you'll learn how to integrate other special weapons into your one-size-fits-all build, but it sure as hell ain't gonna be today. If you're a PvP player, you're a junior troll, a trainee. If cryosthesia users are coke, you're probably just huffing rubber cement under the bleachers. But be careful there, young wolf, it's a slippery slope. Keep it up and you'll find yourself freeze-rifting people with Shadebinder in no time. But before we get further into the content, we gotta talk about your trouser tent with the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. Step into 2024 with confidence thanks to Manscaped, where resolutions are met and hairs are neatly kept. Introducing the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, the all-inclusive kit that has everything you need to feel clean and confident. First and foremost, it includes the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Electric Trimmer. It has dual skin-safe blade heads, now accompanied by an updated trimmer blade and interchargeable foil blade for enhanced performance. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra also has a bigger LED light. Those hard-to-reach areas, a problem no longer. You'll also get the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer. It's waterproof, cordless, rechargeable, and tackles those nose and ear hairs with ease. And of course, the classics, Crop Soother, Crop Preserver 1-2 combo, and the Boxers 2.0. Make a 2024 resolution that's easy to keep. Stay fresh and look good with Manscaped. Head on over to manscaped.com/falloutplays and get 20% off your order. Again, that is 20% off at manscaped.com/falloutplays. Your balls will thank you. All right, we back. Next up, Aeger Scepter. Man, you really like stasis in PvE. In fact, you kind of hope that any activity you're going into that day has the stasis surge modifier active so that you can whip out your precious little freeze beam and go to town. You're extremely proud of your perfectly crafted stasis build that you've painstakingly picked out every fragment and armor mod on so you can get the most out of your icy shenanigans. Depending on how old of a guardian you are, there's a mild chance that every time you activate the exotic catalyst, you do a corny-ass Arnold version of Mr. Freeze.
Allow me to break the ice.
Forerunner. Odds are you're a PvP player and probably old enough to have appreciated a certified hood classic, Halo CE. Because of those OG roots, when you laid eyes on this sidearm, you knew you had to put it on. 3-tapping people in PvP takes you back to a wonderful time where screen peeking was your biggest concern and your lower back didn't hurt all the time. Conditional Finality. Oh, you plain, basic, white bread, vanilla ice cream eating son of a bitch. You're a PvP meta slave without question, but at this point, very few people can hold it against you. I mean, it's almost like Bungie wants us to use this shotgun, right? It's just so damn good. But you know they've painted themselves into a corner because if they nerf conditional, the bubble and well spam and trials would get even worse, and you're pretty sure they know we know, you know? It's a cruel joke, and you laugh about it all the way to the lighthouse each and every weekend. Or you're a PvE player who straight up just enjoys the fun factor and utility of conditional, and you know what? Good for you. The Navigator. There's a slight chance that you're a run-of-the-mill Strand enjoyer who simply enjoys their green beam go brr exotic, or more likely, you're a frighteningly efficient PvE speedrunner. You use your perfectly optimized Strand Titan build to bash through dungeon bosses in one phase, possibly low manning or even solo, all while looking up with hope at your framed Saltagrepo poster mounted on the wall. You probably roll with a routine PvE crew as dedicated to blowing through content as you are, and God help any outsiders that wander into your fire team to help you clear an activity, because you're going to analyze and review their loadout with the level of scrutiny of an IRS auditor. Coldheart. You fall into one of two camps. Camp number 1, you're a PvE player and you literally cannot get enough of your beloved Ionic Trace Arc build, or Camp 2, you're a truly rare breed, a PvP Coldheart main. It's like finding a blue lobster or a normal crypto enthusiast. I'll admit, when I do see you in PvP, you either get completely buried or you pop the hell off. Definitely one more than the other, but I'll still focus up a little bit when I see you in the lobby, just in case. Merciless. You are old school with your PvE damage dealing and you let everybody know it. Psh, that's some basic shit. Anyone can shoot a rocket, but it's way more fun to shoot a fusion rifle comically fast at some poor dumb boss, maybe. You're always telling your fire team members that Merciless is actually way better than they think. Oh, trust me guys, I heard it from insert YouTuber here's 712 build video. Borealis. Ah, just like the Marines, the few, the proud. You either bring this into PvE content because you're the slightly less boring version of your vanilla cousin, the Hardlight user, and it's your one-use break-all anti-shield gun, or you unironically bring it with you into PvP because it's actually pretty okay on paper. Whenever an enemy guardian pops their super, you start frothing at the mouth, demanding your teammates tell you exactly where the guy is and that they don't touch him at all so you can be the one to break their shield. And God help them if they kill the roaming super before you get there from the other side of the map. Prometheus Lens. Bullets are fun, but you know what's more fun? Lasers. You like using solar builds so you can apply Scorch to anything and everything as you walk around the room with the trigger of this gun practically taped down. There's a chance you fell in love with this beast way back during the fabled laser tag weekend, and you occasionally put the unique emblem on and think about how much fun that weekend was, even though 90% of the players who remember that time think about how they'd rather slam their dong in a refrigerator door than go through that experience again. Telesto. You're the D2 version of a kid who found something funny at age 8 and still laughs at it at age 20. You're a joker, a goofball, the silliest of geese. And finding dumb ways to kill people in PvP is almost like a challenge to you. Shooting the wall, shooting the floor, shooting a friend, anything you can do at all if it'll earn you some kind of ridiculous kill on the enemy. If you could, you'd pay real actual money to be able to hear the shouting and frustration from the other team each and every time you kill them with Telesto. After all this time, you still find Telesto broke the game again memes funny, and deep down in your heart, you know you're cringe, but that you're free. Wavesplitter. It's possible that you're a PvE player who likes to beam, but odds are slightly better that you're a PvP player with a finely tuned build, and you take great pleasure in the fact that pretty much nobody sees your trace rifle coming. You shake with excitement for the moment you can pick up an orb in combat and let the chaos fly, kinda like your local strong mommy barbarian who just wolfed down a fistful of soul coins. Lord of Wolves. You're a devious, cold-hearted son of a gun, a wolf ever prowling in the forest of trials and comp. At one point there were a lot of you. That time's long gone now, thank God, but even with the changes, you've stuck it out with your weirdo bastard shotgun. It may not be as lethal as it used to be, but you sure as hell know how to make it work, and heaven help the poor chump who doesn't know what to expect when your loadout pops up in the Trials pregame cinematic. Jotunn. You're a PvP player, and 2 out of the 3 points on this triangle describe you as a person or I let Mr. Beast drop my car into the Grand Canyon. You prefer more chill PvP, like sixes, and your Toaster of Doom tickles you in a way that no other weapon in the game does. Every now and then you hear complaints that the gun needs to be nerfed, and you honestly don't know what the hell they're talking about. Half the time, if people just gingerly walked to the right, they wouldn't be hit by your ultra-slow Hadouken, and you know it. There's a 50-50 shot that you ordered the Bungie Jotunn toaster, and it sits proudly on a shelf in your gamer cave, like a shining monument to your ever-preserved virginity. Eriana's vow. There's a slim chance that you're a PvEer who enjoys the big iron on their hip vibe of this gargantuan hand cannon, or more likely, you're a hand cannon bow-swapping PvP player and you're the absolute worst. Unless you're my friend Stadia Time, of course, because that means you're probably on my team, in which case, have at it, Hawkeye. Your sensitivity is in the high double digits, just like your IQ, and you can't remember what it feels like to get a kill in PvP without swapping your weapons in between shots. I'd say have fun in hell, but from what I can only imagine your post-game DMs look like, you're probably already there. Divinity. You know, I, like many, have had plenty of giggles over the years at your expense, ever since the rise to fame of the infamous div bitch meme. And you know what? Truth be told, you don't get enough credit. People making fun of you is like making fun of the designated driver. You are a godsend, and I salute you so hard that I almost knocked myself out. If you're a true Divinity lover, odds are you may have even leaned into the div bitch joke, and if you aren't just the realest one out here for that. I won't even make fun of the 20% chance that you're glad to be the Divinity user because you just don't want to take the chance of being not on Divinity and then finding yourself as the lowest damage dealer on the team after a failed raid damage phase. All hail the beautiful blue beamers, the fourth horseman. Either you're a PvE lover with very particular taste in DPS weapons, much preferring encounters where you can get close enough to an enemy to kiss them on the mouth, or you're a PvP weirdo. Not a troll, mind you, I'm deliberately drawing a line in the sand between the two. Yeah, your shotgun gets kills, but wow, you'd think you'd never used any other shotty before. God help your teammates if you kill even one Bubble Titan during a PvP match, because they'll literally never hear the end of it. You see? Bro, I told you, it's good, but nobody believes me. Guys, I think you muted me by accident. Ruinous Effigy. PvP troll is a little bit of an understatement, don't you think? Your shenanigans make even Loki raise an eyebrow, running headlong around PvP, gobbling up all the green you can find so you can experience the pure joy of melting some poor schmuck down into a ball, only to turn around and slam dunk them right into their friend. Admittedly, the hit a motherfucker with another motherfucker is a hilarious strategy for maybe the first 2 to 3 times you pull it off. But man, you're still out here doing it, aren't you? Much like the guy who rolls into Walmart wearing God knows what, it's probably best if people just avoid eye contact and try to ignore you while moving quickly towards the register. Duality. You're a PvP player, and I gotta admit, you're probably pretty good. You liked the feel of the Chaperone during its rise to power, but when Duality showed up, the uniqueness of this new weird hybrid beast grabbed you right away. You've trained your brain to know the exact range where you'd be better off hip firing and the exact range where you'd be better off ADSing. You know the ins and outs of this thing like the back of your hand, and you're glad knowing that 9 times out of 10 you won't be hurt by major shotgun nerfs because they mainly target the pellet crowd, and that's only about 25% of what you bring to the table. Cloudstrike. Fuck you. Okay, but no, seriously, part of me is actually impressed by you. Not at your sniper collat kills, of course, but at the fact that you're willingly able to openly main a gun so hated it makes Le Monarch users look like Tom Hanks. Odds are you were a complete stranger to this gun until the fabled day of prophecy when the seas boiled, hell froze over, and a new exotic catalyst entered the world which would become a plague unto the landscape of PvP. Just like everybody else, you found the extra handling on the gun was all it took to take this thing that handled about as well as a rusty shopping cart and turn it into a god-tier gym destroyer. A plague upon your household, sir, and damn the man, woman, or beast at Bungie who forged this unholy devil catalyst. Lorentz Driver. You know, I'd say to just copy everything I said about Arbalest and paste it here with a purple void overlay, but I can't even say that with a straight face because at least Some people used Arby in PvE for the barrier champion killing. You, on the other hand, don't even have an excuse. The only reason anyone ever has picked up and used a Lorentz Driver has been so they could get a headshot on someone in PvP even though the reticle was a full foot away from the head. Thankfully, your numbers continue to dwindle, and unlike the endangered species of today, there are no Greenpeacers or anti-poaching volunteers rushing to stand by your side. Edge of Concurrence. You are a supreme PvP troll with one goal and one goal only, doing anything you can to get one-shot lightning seeker kills on poor jabronis who have no idea that was even a thing. Yeah, winning the match is nice, but it's definitely second on your priority list. As long as you've managed to record some goofy tracking one-shot clip, the game's a W in your sick little book. Edge of Action. You're a PvE playing Titan, and you either really like the fun little fantasy of protecting your homies with mini bubbles left and right, or you're one of those players who always tries to convince people to join you in the old behemoth smash the boss in the teeny bubble strategy, which doesn't work all the time, but admittedly, it's fun as hell, and you're sure to remind everyone of that when you pull it off. Edge of Intent. You're the Bigfoot of Destiny, and by that, I mean sightings of you are so rare, I'm not actually sure if you even exist. I had a friend who once claimed they saw you out in the wild, but of course there wasn't any footage to prove it was real, so how can I believe him? If you are out there, keep enjoying your magical little corner of the forest and tell your best friend the Loch Ness Monster we all said hey. Dead Messenger. There's definitely a few PvE deadheads out there, but the smart money says that you're a PvP player and a bit of a deviant. You shake your fist at Bungie for the fact that they nerfed your beloved baby, but that's not gonna stop you from still doing the Warlock Arc Slide melee trick, which kinda maybe sorta works some of the time. F whatever YouTuber put the word out about that little gimmick, that guy probably sucks. Delicate Tomb. You're a PvE arc aficionado and often partake in your favorite activity, seeing how many arc traces you can generate during a single Nightfall run, all while mentioning to your teammates that this build is crazy and that they should really try it out. You potentially argue with friends about what's more efficient in the arc department, Delicate Tomb or Coldheart, but you always make sure to mention at least Delicate Tomb looks clean as hell, and hey, no one's gonna challenge you there. Either that or you actually use this thing in PvP, aka you're a freak weirdo, and quite frankly, I want nothing to do with you. Vexcalibur. Weapon tier lists and optimal loadout videos mean little to nothing to you. Much like the guy who mains Ganondorf in Smash Ultimate, you kinda just don't give a shit what other people think. Oh no, my main isn't S triple plus tier? Who cares? You found something you enjoy using and you make it work for you as best you can. Your teammates may roll their eyes that you're flat out refusing to change your build for the sake of whatever activity you're in, even if it's for something like a Divinity, but hey, at least you're having fun, and that's what matters most, I think. Tesselation. You're a PvE player and you have an eye for style. You know your beloved multicolor explosion machine isn't optimal, but hey, that's okay. It's fun as hell, and you look good while making the room go boom with whatever subclass element you might be feeling, all while rocking a permanent 100 stat in discipline. Diris. You're a PvE player and you know how to hold a grudge. You're fully aware that your boomer launcher ain't the hottest plate in the kitchen, but you'll be damned if you're gonna not give those annoying ass hive a taste of their own freaking medicine. Every time you generate a loyal moth, you watch with glee as it slowly tracks down and harasses the hive just as they've done to you so many times. You secretly feel like Bungie should buff your funny little exotic, but even if they don't, no skin off your nose. You'll continue living it up in no reload heaven. Buried Bloodline. You're a PvE player and you fall under one of two umbrellas. Umbrella 1, you're something of a build crafting mad scientist, and not only that, you don't play on a void class. Instead, you use the Bloodline on every other class in the game to find weird and interesting ways to stack Devour with other subclass 3.0 effects. Your friends may sigh with exhaustion as you eagerly tell them about yet another non-void build that features the Bloodline, but deep down, they appreciate your creative genius. At least, that's what you tell yourself. Or Umbrella 2, you use this on a void class even though you probably already have multiple ways to proc Devour because, ooh, gun is pretty. Like today's vid for a follow-up and check the pinned comment for more. Peace!